Is organizing for us a possibility now, without being infiltrated, assassinated, incarcerated, or demonized?
There's always organizations, there's always goals, there's always traders, changes, the laws change, the climate changes, the political environment changes. There's always going to be somebody who wants to organize for something. Sometimes it's for the betterment, sometimes it's for the detriment. You got people doing Nazi salutes outside of fucking Disney World. But 75 years ago, we were killing these people because we knew that they were not any good for anyone on this planet. We were saying, you know, the only good Nazi is a dead Nazi. The only good fascist is a dead fascist. But yet and still, now we're embracing fascism. We're embracing Nazism. We're embracing all these nationalism. Just the other day, they lynched an autistic Muslim man in India for taking a banana during a religious ceremony. Now, could he have waited? Could somebody have said, well, hold on? But no, they put him to death for something that he was going to get anyway. And was fueled by nationalism. Because over there they got a right wing majority leader who's all about for Hindus first, not for the nation as a whole. It doesn't matter what you believe in religiously, or spiritually, or however, but it does matter that you live in this country or you live in another country. You need to be for that country, because if you're not for that country, why the hell are you here? So, I mean, we're gathered here. Now, some of us were brought here. Some of us migrated here. But we're still here. We're here in this country because we believe in life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. We believe in that Constitution. Otherwise, we can go elsewhere. There's expatriates that went off elsewhere because they didn't believe whatever was working. So, there's somebody else's problem. Or there's somebody else's benefit. But if you're here, you believe in this country. I love this country. I may not love everybody in it. I may not accept everybody in it. But we're here. I love America. So, I'm going to try to contribute my best to make America a better place for everybody in it. Everybody. I may not like them, but I am going to try.
Yeah, there can be safeguards built into your organization to guard against that. Yeah, there can be. But at what cost, I couldn't say. Personally, I just love the destruction of traitors. I love their destruction. And I love questioning them while they're being destroyed. This is really what you want. There's a price to be paid for everything that you do. For the good things you do and for the bad things you do. And traitors, there's a cold place somewhere just for them. I would have no problem sending them there. None.
Yeah, that's generally what has always come to. It's usually done every time someone has organized and done something. It's always come from within.
Mm-hmm.
The demise has always been something from the internal.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that has to.
Jealousy.
It has to go. You can't. That's the part that has always brought things to a close, and you have to start over again. eventually, I just know inside my heart that there will be a time when that will cease. It has to.
You
Just on the basis of our going forth. That's just part of. Some people use the word evolution. I don't use the word evolution. I call it ascension, because that's what it is. It's really ascension. It's not evolution. It's ascension. And part of that ascension will entail the elimination of things like traitors. And, it will happen.
And one of the things that leads to that is jealousy.
Yeah.
I mean, you even see jealousy among ranks of preachers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very much so. I know about that.
I mean, in organizations, you tend to see a lot of that too.
And I think the question has to also address organizing for what? And as we look at that, there's this theory that a lot of the revolutions and a lot of the significant movements of society were started by relatively small groups of people. A lot of the movements. The Chinese Revolution, for one. Malcolm X was quoted as saying that it doesn't take everybody. All you need to do is ignite the fuse that lights the keg. I think something along those lines. So there's a critical mass. There's a tipping point. We can't worry about, is everybody going to be brought along? Sometimes those that are not going to be active and aggressive in helping us to secure what it is we got to secure, if they would just get out of the way. If that makes any sense. In other words, if they would just suspend their maintenance function of this system of oppression and degeneracy, if they would not be the buffer, if they would relieve themselves of the buffer Negro status, that would take us a long way. And sometimes you have to do that through force. There's a picture in Vietnam of a kid putting a gun to his father's head during the Vietnamese War. And obviously the intimation was the father was a traitor. And the kid was willing to lay down his father for the people. That type of will, that type of perseverance, and that type of commitment, you're not going to bring everybody along. One of the things that they were doing, and I'm not saying we're them, because we're going to have to operate a different model, but out of a different model, because we're African people, our values may be different, but by any means necessary, definitely has to be your calling card. I remember reading about Vietnamese prostitutes, I don't know how they did it, that inserted slits of razors in their private parts. So when American servicemen entered them, they bled profusely, and many of them bled to death. They were willing to do that to secure the victory for the people that they ultimately secured. And at the end, when they had to broker the peace, the general of the Vietnamese army and the general from American army, when they had to discuss how they were going to stop everything, because the narrative of the media, Malcolm always told us, you have to see with your own eyes, because something can be going on right outside your door, and the version of events on your TV screen could be describing something very different. You have to see with your own eyes. And so sometimes what they're telling you, you know for a fact, if you're actually looking, that's not what I see. You know that version of events is not quite true. And so it's very, very important for us to do that, not believe sometimes what we're being told or what's being promoted by the powers that be. So that being the case, I think it's very important for us to realize that, again, you can't organize with everybody. Some people just gotta leave them alone. They're not with you for a reason, but again, there have to be consequences if they get in the way. There have to be consequences if they get in the way. And as long as you have some system of consequences, you can be successful. Because again, politics is the ability to reward your friends and punish your enemies. And we as a people are in the condition we're in because we've been rewarding our enemies and punishing our friends. The people that have been most loyal to us, the people that work in the interest of us, we haven't paid them. All the revolutionaries have died relatively broke. They haven't had hardly anything. Malcolm had pretty much lint in his pocket. King came from a middle income family. He could have very easily gone into the ministry and with his style and with his oratory been very wealthy as a preacher. No problem. But he chose to struggle and to fight for the progress of our people. Those do not pay. They are dead. But Jesse and Farrakhan are still alive. And they've lived old age, and they've lived good. They've eaten good. They've traveled everywhere, and they've been able to enjoy all the accoutrements that go along with being able to live a long and prosperous life. But there's sometimes a price you pay for that. And I'm not saying, especially in the case of the minister, he has done some very positive things for our people. Very positive. He's made sure information is put out to help us survive and gives us inspiration and hope. But there's also some things he's done that have compromised us to a certain extent, and all of them. So none of our leaders should be above reproach, and even ones that think that they are do not deserve to be leading us. And so, that being the case, Baba, one of the things we have to think about is that we only have each other. We're all we got. We can't think about getting with other people. One of the things that Dr. Johnson said that made a lot of sense to me was that whenever you have like these interracial, they've never worked, alliances in terms of black progress. We saw the NAACP, that Joel Springer, the guy they named Springer Award after for the NAACP, he was a spy for the Navy, which meant that W.B. Du Bois, a certain amount, was complicit. He just wanted to see what they were doing and to make sure that they have a heads up to keep them from positive and productive movement as an organization. And so we can't rely on other people because, like Dr. Johnson says, whenever a less organized group gets with a more organized group, guess who's going to dominate? Whites are organized. Whenever they become part of our organizations, they always have the ability to make sure that they're compromised and end up serving other purposes. Not saying every black that comes to our organization is true, or groups that we're working with and going to do everything with fidelity that need to help us in our struggle, but whites cannot help us. And that's kind of what Malcolm was saying when the woman said, "What can I do?" He said, "Nothing." Well, you can organize amongst your own people. Or as the revolutionary Steve Coakley said, if you're going to be a white person, you want to help us, you got to be willing to do the John Brown thing. The John Brown thing. Don't tell me you're for us and you come here spying and you come here to infiltrate and all those type of things, so on and so forth. And if you're truly going to help black people on any level, if you're white, you have to be willing to do what you're told to do. Blacks don't go in any white organization and start bossing them around. When whites come out, it's just like the roles that they have in every other facet of life. When you go in a black organization, they start, well, you should do this, you should, whoa, 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 whoa. That is reinforcing the racial prejudice right there. The white man's bird is the black man. You got to come in and tell us, they don't even see that, the white savior narrative. Go over, you know how you organize amongst your people. You can run, if you want to help us, go amongst your people and go get our bag, okay? We don't have the bag, go get the bag. You punish some of these race soldiers that come in our community. If you want to help us, You're not helping us by coming here telling us how to run our organization. That's something we need to figure out, or we're never mature as a people. Because even under the best intentions, your white supremacy is going to take over, and you're going to just be telling us what to do. Just kind of like they infiltrated the Panthers with the cocaine and white woman and so on and so forth. There's always be some level of something like that. We got to figure this out for ourselves. If you want to help organize within your own group and stop some of them from doing some things they're doing to us, instead of saying, I got black friends, I listen to black music, I eat ribs too, I like soul music. I got a black girlfriend. I got a black husband. I'm so sick of some of the interracial people, and I've had to tell some of them, like, the people that are married, on that note, I'm kind of off topic a little bit here. Some of the people I met that are married to black people are some of the most racist whites, because their assumption are based upon that person that they're with, which means that that person accepts them in a white value system. They think all blacks are going to be like that. They're expert. Well, black men, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't need your generalizations about us. You got one, but that one don't represent me, because I wouldn't be with you anyway. Okay? And so, because those attitudes, that level of the supremacy and superiority, no. That's him. I'm not going to act like that. I'm not going to be beholden to you. I'm going to still have to put the flag out in front of the house. You might not want that.